Item 5.10, right? We skipped over 9. We're going to 5.10, discussion of marketing the 2013-2014 budget. As you know, we did send the budget to the mayor's office. The mayor did send us back, actually a reply to my letter to him, a message asking us to reduce our budget. He's going to be sending a smaller number to the council. We have been going out and visiting all the PTOs that we can. So far, we've been to all the elementary schools except for Northeast Schools PTO, and we haven't been to VCMS's PTO meeting yet to promote this budget and to inform people as to what's in this budget. I think we have to continue to do that type of marketing and let people know what's in this budget, but I think we also need to get the information out to the community, and I think that's the intent of this discussion. So I don't know if anybody has any thoughts there, but I definitely would, I was of the thought that I think the budget steering committee, or the finance committee rather, not the budget steering the committee as a whole, but the finance committee may want to meet and come up with some ideas, possibly bring them forward to the full budget steering committee. I think we also need to meet to put together a presentation for the council, because I think we need to make sure that we go into the council meeting with a full presentation, board's perspective on where we are in education. Mr. Person.
Do you need that in the form of a motion?
I wouldn't mind. I'd like that if you could.
So moved.
So the motion is that the Finance Committee get together and formulate some ideas on the marketing of this budget, and it's something we're going to have to do fairly soon. So it's just another night out, though. So, I have a motion, Mr. Boutar. I have a motion and a second. Discussion. Mrs. Goldrich.
Oh, the Communications Subcommittee has a meeting tomorrow night. I think this is should be on our agenda as well.
And I would agree. I would agree. Ms. Arm, then I'll back to Mr. Person.
Is your the marketing concern that you're speaking about, is that relative to the budget and town council, or are you talking the public?
My focus with the marketing for the council, I mean, I think we need to really do a presentation to the council that explains our board's position as to why we're supporting, or why we sent a 7.24 budget to the mayor's office, and why we would encourage them to add back monies to satisfy that 7.24 request. I think we need to give them a good explanation as to why we as a board feel that way and what the the motivation is behind that. I mean, we have the administration's information, but I think we also have to, provide the details, as to why this board feels so strongly on that. Ms. Fisher.
With that said, though, I think we do need to come up with some marketing strategies for the entire community also.
Agree. And I think that's, we don't want to leave that out, but we do need to make sure that we have that presentation ready as soon as we're invited to the council. And I think that's information that we want to share with the public as a whole, because, this public education affects the community in a big way. I mean, property value is everybody in the community's concern, not just parents. Yes, sir.
Could I suggest that the more community support we have at the council level, the better off we would be as well? So I hear what you're saying.
Absolutely.
And to me, it's almost two steps, but we need the public at the town council level as well.
And that's why we've been going to every PTO meeting and really putting our position out there in front of the PTOs, making sure that they understand, what's in this budget, why we're pushing for this budget, and what the ramifications are to cutting, even to get to the point where the mayor has asked us to go back to, a 4.1 something, 4.13. Mr. Person.
I think the community also has to understand this board sent the mayor a 7.24% budget. He's proposing to cut back to us, that he's going to propose that cut to the town council. He's going to propose
He's
a
actually putting
4.13.
yeah, he's actually sending them a 4.13.
Correct. So the community has to understand, and the parents have to understand that the board has no control over this anymore. This is in the mayor's and the town council's hands. So if you need to make your voice heard, you need to make it heard at the town council level at this point.
And that's exactly the word that we've been promoting throughout the PTOs, and
Absolutely.
we need to continue to do
There's
that.
parents here too, so
Absolutely.
thank you.
Mr. Kemp.
What are the dates that the council is meeting to discuss this, where the individuals who might wish to speak could?
The town council just set the meeting dates, the first Saturday meeting, and I don't have the exact date, maybe March 16th.
March 16 is the first Saturday.
That's the first Saturday, I believe, to 9 o'clock start, and they have the community forum at the beginning of that meeting, and then final meeting is the other date. Do you know the
March 28th.
28th? And there's a community forum. Those are the only two, but you know, I would encourage parents to fill the room every night if they could, just so that there's presence is felt. Mr. Kemp.
Are they simply community forum, or are they planning to hold a hearing format,
They're going to be public hearings.
public
Public
hearings?
hearings, yes.
Okay.
Ms. Fisher.
Do we know the date that the Board of Ed is to present? No. 16th,
28.
So the motion on the floor currently is to have Finance Committee go back and work up a presentation to the council and then bring it back to the full board, and to do this very soon. There's no more discussion on that motion. I'm going to call the motion to a vote by a show of hands. All in favor? And those opposed? Okay. That was unanimous for the folks in the room. Mr. Nicholson's not in the room. Right. Getting down there. 5.1, actually 5.11. Board of Education committee reports. Does anybody have any committee reports?
Finance Committee.
Sorry, I apologize. No, I read it wrong. Trying to move things. Finance Committee.
I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Carl.
Through you, Mr. Chair, in the interest of time and efficiency, most of the board members have attended the Finance Committee combined with the Technology Committee, so I'm just going to hit the highlights in the budget summary and request that board members who have additional questions after this meeting submit them to the Superintendent's office for an expedient follow-up response. Just to make sure everyone has their packets, there's a business and finance report, and then there was a second handout for the White House briefing on the sequester that we've been reading about in newspapers and media. Budget summary, if I can call your attention to the main business and finance report. In Exhibit A, we currently are at $49,523,633, or 102.8%, meaning we're 2.8% over budget at this time, not including our revenues of our $48,180,997 budget. Our actual expenditures are at 61.2% as of February 19th, in comparison to last year at this time.
No, I just have it, Mr. Kemp. Oh, there.
Excuse me. In comparison to last year at this time, we had $23,884,000 expended with 2.53% available. Obviously, this budget report emphasizes the need as to why we're in our spending freeze, with our two primary drivers being magnet school tuition, which is $144,000 and change over budget, and our special education tuition is currently at $1.8 million over budget. If we include the estimated, which is a conservative estimation of our excess cost reimbursement at around 65%, that would yield us $893,000 in revenue, cutting our projected deficit for special ed tuition and about half, at close to $1 million over budget at this point in time. Health insurance, our current quotes are showing about 13.2%. Our capital and non-recurring education fund balance is at $145,000 and change, and we would plan on submitting our updated capital expenditure plan to tomorrow night's facilities committee. There are additional updates in this report on the school-based health center bid, which has been posted. It includes all the feedback that was discussed at a prior board meeting, updates on the school construction grant reimbursement space standards, efforts that we're making with our local legislators. There's an update on the governor's proposed budget, and as well as, I mentioned before, on the potential impacts to Connecticut on the sequester related to education. And lastly, there's some updates on food and nutrition services, our special projects, which include the school bus safety camera system, our risk management efforts, and our school facilities, some of our work that's being done on boilers and other projects in the school district. And with that, Mr. Chairman, I'll turn it back to you, sir.
Thank you. And I believe everybody does have a copy of the report, and if there's any questions, please do email Dr. Conway, and she'll make sure that we get the responses. All right. Yeah, the report is the first 3 pages, Dave, front and back, and then front, and then all the rest are just exhibits to support the documentation behind that report that Mr. Macaro put together. And that's what he presents to the Finance Committee. Right. Moving on to item 5.12, Board of Education Technology Committee report. Ms. Bush?
Yes, the Technology Committee met in conjunction with the Finance Committee. And one of the things that we were able to review was the Vernon data processing budget. The whole town plus the school, we were able to review that and really go over exactly where our money goes. So we really felt that there's a lot of improvements in the conductivity of our schools, as well as adding switches to make everything run the way it should. So it was good that we were able to actually see line by line on where the budget was and where our dollars were going. And it was very important for us to see that and be able to visually understand where our money goes and the improvements that are being made in our technology.
Thank you. Mr. Percy?
I just want to let Mr. Kemp know that all that information that Mrs. Bush was just talking about is also in that packet in front of you.
Right. There's no other comments. Mr. Kemp?
I just wanted to ask about the school-based health center. I didn't bring an article, but I thought I was reading about that some funding being in jeopardy for the school-based health centers. Michael, do you have any information on where that may be?
Through the chair, I'm not aware of any cuts to the school-based health center funding at this point in time. There may be some impact related to the sequester, but we don't have that level of detail at this point in time.
Moving along, we'll move on